Um, which one of you is Eugene? Hi. I'm Stephanie.
In the previous episode, it was mentioned that Ezekiel and the other three successfully joined the Commonwealth. Eugene also met Stephanie, whom he had been thinking about, and at that moment, he even thought of names for their children. However, before they could exchange much information, they were taken to a studio where a documentary about the Commonwealth was playing on the television. In the video, a man named Lance, the director of operations equivalent to a chief executive position, was the narrator. The community was established by Pamela Milton, a former American governor. Currently, the population exceeds 50,000, and each person is assigned a job based on their skills. The community's development is almost indistinguishable from the pre-apocalyptic era. Boasting a comprehensive healthcare system, people are free to pursue their interests, and children enjoy a joyful childhood with laughter, play, and various delicious snacks. Safety, however, remains the top priority. The white armored warriors not only have to maintain the stability of the community, but also kill the zombies outside. Soon, the video concludes. Yumiko chanted the name Pamela, not realizing that the governor had created this place. Subsequently, the staff distributes envelopes to them, leaving everyone puzzled about their contents. Eugene opens his envelope and discovers he is assigned to a high school teaching position, residing in Bungalow 13 in Zone 1. It seems the community has arranged both work and accommodation for them. However, Eugene immediately stands up and confronts the staff. He's not dissatisfied with the arrangement, but he hasn't planned to stay here permanently. Their families are waiting for them to bring back assistance. The staff ignored Eugene and told him to go up the chain of command if he had any problems, so Eugene had to give up. Princess becomes a sales clerk, Ezekiel an animal caretaker. The others' jobs are also related to the pre-apocalyptic period. Yumiko's envelope, on the other hand, is unique and seems like an invitation, specifying a meeting at the National Affairs Office with benefits and treatment equivalent to internal staff. It appears that they value her talent. Eugene reiterates the need to quickly devise an action plan to avoid these deviations disrupting their original agenda. Their purpose is to meet with their leader, bring back assistance, and resist the Whisperers. Subsequently, they decide to split up temporarily, gathering information about the community. After they left, Yumiko approached the same staff member to inquire about her brother. Initially, the man was indifferent, but his attitude did a complete 180-degree turn when he learned about Yumiko's invitation to the National Affairs Office. Following the address given by the man, Yumiko arrived at a bakery. She was puzzled as her brother was an excellent surgeon, so why would he be working here? Upon entering, she was greeted by the sight of exquisite cakes, giving her a surreal feeling as if the apocalypse was just a dream, and the world was still normal. A man carrying a cake walked out, and upon seeing Yumiko, he froze.
Hi, Tommy.
The siblings were both delighted, having not seen each other for over 15 years. Even thinking the other might have died, Tommy couldn't help but be a little surprised to hear his sister's stories from the outside world. That his gentle sister could use a longsword and was a sharpshooter. The apocalypse had changed them both. Yumiko also asks her brother how he came to be here. Tommy explained that during the apocalypse, they wandered and eventually encountered the Milton family, who led them in building the Commonwealth. In the 15 years of development, he almost forgot about the outside world. Yumiko was grateful her brother found refuge here, considering the harsh realities outside. However, she was curious about why he chose to make cakes here. Given the high status of doctors in the apocalypse, Tommy replied that he always enjoyed baking. It brought him happiness. Becoming a doctor was an expectation from their father, so he kept his medical skills a secret, hoping Yumiko wouldn't reveal it. On the other side, Eugene and Stephanie were together, buying ice cream. They've discussed flavors on the radio before. A woman with black framed glasses approached, and without a word, the server immediately set aside what he was holding and handed over the prepared ice cream to the woman. She was Pamela's secretary. The woman paid no attention to Eugene and promptly left. Eugene had a strange sense of familiarity earlier, but he couldn't quite place it. Eugene took a lick of the ice cream, and the taste was exactly like the pre-apocalyptic days, a long-lost sensation. As they strolled down the street, enjoying the ambience, Eugene felt a bit uneasy being suddenly thrust back into normal society. In the distance, a figure caught his eye, a woman dressed similarly to Rosita. Eugene couldn't help but think about their companions back home and wondered about the situation at Alexandria Safe Zone. Have the Whisperers attacked the Alexandria Safe Zone? Thinking about this, Eugene had no intention to go shopping. He earnestly told Stephanie, "While I'd love to continue this stroll with you, I can't. If I can't achieve the purpose of coming here, it would be a disservice to myself. So, we won't stay. Our families are waiting for us to bring back assistance." He then asked Stephanie about the procedures for seeking help. Stephanie sighed. "In our town, with a large population, everything takes time." As they sat on a bench at the street corner, Stephanie could sense Eugene's distress, and she pondered how to help. Suddenly, she noticed the antennas on the rooftop, and their eyes met. They seemed to have an idea together. Stephanie said, "The radio station of our town is inside. If you can talk to your family, you should feel better." Eugene understood that such external communication was likely not allowed. At this point, Ezekiel and the princess also find them and give them the unfortunate news that a meeting with their superiors will take at least 5 weeks and possibly years. Eugene frowned and then turned to Stephanie. With no other options, they decided to secretly use the radio. They stood up and headed towards the hall. What they don't know is that Michael in orange armor is watching them in the distance. Michael is the soldier commander here. Stephanie led Eugene into the hall, where people were engrossed in various activities. The communication room was on the second floor, and they calmly ascended the stairs. Ezekiel and Princess stood guard below, ready to delay any unexpected situations. Their operation went smoothly, especially since there were no guards in the vicinity. After a while, Princess spotted the situation. She saw Michael coming this way with soldiers.
Hey! Fancy meeting you here, Mercer. Ooh! Oh, they clearly got a gym in this joint. Your chiseling is perfecto.
In response to Princess's praise, Michael seemed a bit embarrassed.
Was there something else?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you
No need,
for making sure this got back to me.
princess.
Wait.
Just returning your property.
You have really
For what?
beautiful eyelashes.
Meanwhile, at Alexandria's safe zone, Judith and Rosita were inside a house. This time frame corresponds to the eve of the storm.
Alexandria, this is Eugene. Come back.
Hi. Are you all safe?
Eugene, are you okay?
Rosita, oh, thank good to hear your voice.
You too. I got Judith here.
Hello. Hey, Judith. Yes, we're all safe. We're doing okay. How are things there?
Alpha and Beta are dead. Well, the war's over. Alexandria's trashed, and we're running out of food. Eugene, are you still there?
I'm sorry, I need you to repeat it.
Eugene was frustrated. They had no signal and couldn't hear any news from home. Just as they were about to try again,
Hands up! Move away from the radio.
No harm's been done, I can assure you.
You're under arrest. Unauthorized use of government property.
they're taken to an office and a man in a suit walks in. Eugene hurriedly asked Stephanie about the situation, but Marcus ignored him and solemnly declared, "You are hereby notified of the following charges: willful intrusion, reckless endangerment, illegal communication with outsiders. All of these are violations of the Commonwealth Penal Code. The judge will deliver a fair judgment, and if found guilty, you will be exiled far beyond the Commonwealth, never to return." Eugene regretted his actions and kept explaining that he had legitimate reasons and hadn't harmed the Commonwealth. Marcus remained cold, stating that they could present their case to the judge.
That's some bullshit.
I'll take it from here, John.
At that moment, a man entered with Stephanie. They were both stunned as the man looked somewhat familiar.
Let them go.
So Hornsby, I can't. They're awaiting trial.
Do not move them. I'm going to find Mercer.
After they left, Ezekiel exclaimed, "Isn't that the overseer Lance from the documentary?" Stephanie assured them that Lance was someone they could trust. However, she warned them not to get too excited. While he might be able to spare them from exile, there would still be consequences. They would have to pay for their actions.